The next day arrived quietly, as good days often do. Sunlight stretched across the kitchen table where the bunnies' woodland treasures lay waiting, their textures and shapes inviting in the morning light. Tiny flecks of dust danced in the sunbeams, and the whiskerest whisper of a gentle breeze drifted in from the open window, carrying the faint scent of morning dew on grass. Roscoe gathered everyone around. "Bunnies, I was thinking, we could make something together today. Something to remember our walk in the woods." Caratina's eyes lit up. "A collage," she said brightly, "with all the treasures we found. Leaves and feathers, pine cones and pebbles, twigs and sprigs of green." "That sounds like an excellent idea," said Berry, carefully examining his heart-shaped leaf and brushing off a stray mote of dust. They covered the table with old newspaper and fetched the glue pots, scissors, and a large piece of sturdy cardboard. All the bunnies sank down on the plump seat cushions, paused gently inspecting the treasures in front of them. They were rough and smooth, soft and brittle, and some crinkly and crackly, with specks on the twists and flecks on the curls of the twigs. Berry smoothed out his heart-shaped leaf. "I think this should go somewhere important," he said, turning it over thoughtfully. Gus the Whiskers rolled his pebble gently between his paws. "This one feels like it should be in the middle," he said, placing it down with a careful touch. Roscoe spread the treasures out while everyone chose a place to begin. He said, "Bunnies, there isn't a right way, nor neither a wrong way, just the way you feel you should do it. Each thing that you stick, be it a leaf or a twig, should feel like a woodland adventure." Caratina was good with colour. She placed leaves in a soft circle, their shades of gold and rust and green blending together. The sunlight made them glow, just as it had in the dappled glade where they had stopped for a drink and a snack. Truffle Tips added the pinecone star near the top, and Mossflop carefully glued the feather so it curved like a gentle smile. Soup Spoon pressed the strip of bark along one edge. "It looks like a path," he said, "a path for tiny woodland creatures to follow." As they worked, the room filled with quiet sounds, the snick of scissors, the soft thump of glue pots closing, the gentle rustle of paper against paws, and the low hum of contented bunnies. Occasionally someone paused to examine the work, tilting their head or squinting to look. "I think it looks a picture," said Floyd, a small smile tugging at his whiskers. "So do I," said Berry, nodding in agreement. Caratina added a tiny curled twig along one side, whispering, "It reminds me of the ivy climbing the oak tree yesterday." Roscoe placed a small cluster of leaves nearby, softly saying, "And these make me think of the sunlight falling through the branches." When they were finished, they leaned back and admired their work. The collage looked like the woods, but also like something else, like a feeling, calm, curious, and full of small delights. They left it to dry on the sideboard and washed their paws carefully in warm soapy water. Later, they settled in the sitting room with mugs of warm milk, drinking slowly through their curly straws while watching the afternoon drift by. The warm light seeped through the window, casting a golden glow around bunny ears and noses. Outside, a whiskery breeze fluttered the leaves round the lawn. It sighed over the tops of the flowers and sent small petals a-twisting and a-twirling. Inside, the bunnies were pleased with their collage. It had been a very productive day. They nattered a while, pointing out favourite parts of the collage, each remark made with a lingering gaze. As evening came, Roscoe hung the collage on the wall where everyone could see it. It caught the light just so, shimmering softly as the day faded. "That's just how I remember our woodland walk," said Berry, leaning back against the chair. "Yes," said Caratina quietly, folding her paws together. "Me too." The bunnies tidied up the table, put away the glue and scissors, and stacked the newspapers by the old wooden trunk. The cottage grew quiet and settled. Lights dimmed low, voices softened, and one by one the bunnies grew drowsy. Downy paws found friendship ears, which were snuffled on bunny noses. Woodland thoughts began to drift along paths and by burbling streams. All was snug. All was well. Night-night.